Air Zoo fans, it's Troy coming to you from the Air Zoo's brand new paint booth. This infrastructure was put in and opened in January of 2020. This is going to allow us to complete our really incredible aircraft restoration projects. The one I would love to introduce to you today is right here. This is an SBD-2P 2173. Now this airplane, the designation is 2P because the P stands for photo reconnaissance. There were 14 of these built, and as far as anyone can tell, this is the only one of its kind left in the world. So as far as photo reconnaissance is concerned, there was a camera that was mounted right here inside this area here, and it looked straight down through the fuselage, so it allowed the pilot to take pictures of certain areas that the Navy or the military in general were looking to be able to understand a little bit better. This aircraft crashed into Lake Michigan, February 18th of 1944. A young lieutenant named John Lendo was training on Lake Michigan with this aircraft, and as he was coming in for a landing, it was believed that one of his instruments iced up, and unfortunately, he had to bail out of his aircraft. He survived, but this airplane went down to the bottom of Lake Michigan where it rested for the next 65 years. It was brought up in 2009, came to the Air Zoo in 2016. We've been working on it ever since. Now, it's got some amazing history. This airplane actually served at Pearl Harbor during World War II and also fought in the Battle of the Coral Sea. So what an honor it is for the Air Zoo to be able to restore this aircraft to its former glory. And when we're done, it's going to go back home to Pearl Harbor, to the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum. We're hoping to get this done by the end of 2020 and send it home. So right now you can see the fuselage is looking great. We are ready to roll it into our paint booth. So the first thing we're going to do while we're in there is we're going to clear this entire aircraft of any dust, any grime, any debris, any contaminants inside and out, because we want to be sure that for that next phase, when we put this, we apply the self-etching primer on it, that all of that oil and grease and such is gone to ensure that the primer adheres to the entire fuselage. So when we do that, we're going to roll it out, we're going to allow the primer to cure over about a day or two, and then it's going to roll back in, and we're going to take a look at it. If there are any particular dings or dents or things like that, we're going to be able to sand them down, we're going to be able to fill them in, sand them again, and then have that spot primed and ready for painting. So when it's time to paint, we're going to start primarily using a non-specular gray paint for the outside. Inside the cockpit, it'll be zinc chromate green, and part of the fuselage will also be a non-specular blue. And that follows the paint scheme from the early 1940s for these particular aircraft. So that's really the next step. We can't wait to show you the finished product. Might be a little while, but we hope you're going to come down to the Air Zoo sometime and see this amazing restoration project in person before it heads back home to Pearl Harbor. Hope to see you soon.